This time, I will introduce the ruins of Nakagusuku Castle, which has been certified as the strongest castle in Okinawa Prefecture, along with its history. Please take a look. The time is the age of mythology. A god named Amamiku descended to the lower world and created islands. On that island, God made a male and female god dwell who would be the children of the emperor. A child was born to them, and the eldest son was called the Son of Heaven as the first king. The second son was the beginning of the Agi, the third son was the beginning of the peasant, the eldest daughter was the beginning of the Tegan, and the second daughter was the beginning of the Noro. The second daughter, Noro, was later called a priestess and is said to be the founder of the prayer masters. This was called the Heavenly Son bloodline, and lasted for 25 generations. Later, in the 25th generation of the Son of Heaven, the power of the country declined, and it was destroyed by a vassal called Ryu. When the security of the whole country was greatly disturbed by such a military rebellion, one man stood up. It was Santan, who served as Urazoi's Agi. With the support of the people, he defeated Ryu and stabilized the state. The people respected him and made him the Lord of Chuzen. This is the Shunten King. There is a record that this person was the child born to the sister of Minamoto no Tametamo and Osato Aji, but the truth is uncertain. In addition, There is a record that this Nakagusuku Castle was not the royal capital of the country, but Shuri Castle was the royal capital and Nakagusuku Castle was the residence of the prince. During the reign of King Gian, the third generation of the Shunten bloodline, famine broke out throughout the country and a plague spread. At this time, the king entrusted the administration of politics to Eso, because he was highly liked by the people. After that the calamity subsided and the people's lives were enriched, but King Gian voluntarily withdrew and handed over the throne to Eso. When Eso became king, he patrolled the country, demarcating arable land and distributing fields equally among the peasants. The country prospered greatly because of such good government, and after that he established a government office in Tamari and took control of the surrounding islands. Ieyasu was the son of the Lord of the Ieyasu world, who had power in Urazo. This Ieyasu was revered as Ieyasu no Tedeko, child of the sun, because his mother dreamed of the sun and became pregnant. In 1291 and 1296, Ieyasu refused to submit to the Gen, who had sent troops to seek submission, and engaged the Gen soldiers. Although the Gen soldiers retreated, more than 130 prisoners were captured by the Gen soldiers at this time. However, at this point, it can be said that Ryukyu had enough military power to defeat the Gen soldiers. At this time, the center of politics was Urasoe, and the port that became the center of trade was Maki Harbor. Since Maki Harbor is the port of Urasoe, there is no doubt that Urasoe Castle and Nakagusuku Castle were important places for military purposes. Ieyasu built a royal tomb on the land of Urasoe and called it Mount Gokuraku, but after that, it came to be called Uraso Udor, in the sense of calming the world. In the middle of the 13th century, a monk named Zenkin came to Naha. Therefore, Ieyasu built a temple west of Urasoe Castle and let him live there and spread Buddhism. This is said to be the beginning of the introduction of Buddhism in Okinawa. The lineage of the Ieyasu dynasty lasted until the 5th generation, but when the 5th generation, say, ascended the throne at a young age, politics was greatly disturbed. the hearts of the people turned away from the royal family and began to seek a new monarch. Therefore, the people relied on the Sato of Urazoiaji and asked him to rebuild the chaotic world, and he later became king with the support of the people. There is a legend about this King Sato. It is the legend of feather robe that is passed down in the Morinokawa Pond in Ginoan City. A long time ago, there lived a poor farmer named Okuma Yufuya in Urazoe. One summer evening, after finishing his farm work as usual, Okuma stopped at a spring called the Mori no Kawa to remove dirt from his hands and feet. Then there was a beautiful woman in the spring that he had never seen before, and it was a heavenly maiden bathing. Akuma hurriedly hid the feather robe that hung on the pine tree. After a while, Akuma feigned coincidence and called out to the heavenly maiden who was looking for a feather robe. Then he said, "You can stay in my house until you find a feather robe," and he took the heavenly maiden to his house. More than 10 years later, a girl and a boy were born to them. That boy is Sato. One day, while taking care of her younger brother, sister sang a lullaby called "Mother's Feather Robe is in the Box of the Storehouse." When the mother heard this, she found a feather robe in the storehouse, put it on, and soared into the sky. Yufuya and his children cried and called out to the heavenly maiden to come back. However, the heavenly maiden fluttered over the house over and over again, until she flew away beyond the clouds. Later, when Sato came of age, he married the daughter of Katsurin Aji, who was attracted to his talent. His extraordinary talents enriched the village and spread his fame throughout the country. This legend, like Shunten and Eso, is believed to be the deification of those in power. He first appeared in history in 1372, when he swore obedience at the request of an emissary from the Chinese emperor. At that time, he sent his younger brother Taiki to China, and trade with China was allowed by paying tribute to the imperial court. Through this trade, he invited various engineers and sent students to China to adopt China's rich culture. It is said that it was around this time that the royal capital was moved from Urazoe to Shuri, and Sato is said to have been the person who built the great trading era of the Ryukyus. However, in 1406, Bune, who succeeded Sato as king of Chuzen, was defeated by Shohashi, and the Sato lineage came to an end. After defeating Bune, Shohashi placed his father, Ansho, on the throne, and decided to become the son of the emperor himself and proceed with preparations for the unification of the Ryukyus. At this time, Han Anshi ruled in the Hokusen, and Terumi ruled in the Nanzan. Subsequently, several Aji, dissatisfied with Hokusen's coercive methods by Han Anshi, began to ask Shohashi for help one after another. In 1416, at Aji's request, he attacked Hokusen and destroyed the king here. In 1429, he annexed Nanzan, which had been in constant internal strife, and unified the Ryukyus. However, recent research has suggested that he annexed Nanzan first, and then defeated Hokusen in 1422 to unify the three mountains. After the unification of the three mountains, Shohashi developed an expanded Shuri Castle, and actively traded with China, Japan, and Southeast Asian countries. Around this time, Sanshin and Awamori were introduced, and the foundation of Ryukyu culture was created. He also appointed a talented Chinese man named Kaiki to the position of advisor to the king, entrusting him with foreign affairs and domestic affairs. During the reign of the fifth king Shokinfuku, Kaiki built the outer wall of Shuri Castle, called Ruden, and the Chokaude, a maritime road connecting Shuri and Naha. Based on these achievements, it is said that the greatest contributor to the success of Shohashi's unification project was Kanki. The Ryukyu dynasty that was formed in this way is called the first Sho clan lineage, and it continued until the 18th generation. above is the history of the son of heavenly clan lineage, which begins with mythology, to the first Sho clan lineage. Since the mythological is similar to Japan mythology, it is said that it may have been created with reference to Japan mythology. However, this is just an inference, so there is no confirmation, and since similar myths have been left all over the world, it can be said that each of them had a similar idea. Shuri Castle was destroyed by a fire on October 31, 2019, causing great sadness to the people of Okinawa. The grief of the people was very great, and it was a sign that Shuri Castle was a place of heart for the people of Okinawa. Construction is currently underway with the aim of restoration in the fall of 2026, and everyone hopes for its completion. Thank you for watching until the end. If you find this video good or interested, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you again.